really Asia Oceania grant program for the last 2 years, 2021 and 2022. So I will introduce some of the stories from the grant program. So really, Asia Oceania Fund, we have ran this for the 2 years, 2021 and 2022. The grant size was 10,000 Korean won, 10 million Korean won. It's about 8,000 US dollars. So like this is a project fund for one project, so 3 projects per year. So where we supported, so grant duration was 12 months. And then payment ratio was, by signing contract, we paid 70%, and then remaining 30% by when the grantees submit their progress report, we paid the remainings. So I think that it was the most important because the theme, we did not really limit the theme. So we open the themes to all any activities related to the roles of wetland centers, conservation, monitoring, SEPA, and all other things. So in 2021, the 3 projects, one was for the village education, and then another for the monitoring, and the other one was capacity building. So the submitted proposals are mostly about the education and monitoring. And then in 2022, the advocates for the Diasaru Wetland Park Nature Club, and then one for the Guandu Nature Park preschool education program that they wanted to, so they published a booklet for the education, and then also another one, student education. For this, what I want to talk about this program, because we Ramsar Regional Center East Asia is running RICA Wetland Fund. It's a bit bigger scale than this, up to 10,000 US. It is still a small amount, but we've been doing running this program for more than 15 years. So what I learned from here, the most important thing was we need to give a proponent to be more creative. So if we limit the themes in a specific area, specific activities, then they always do the similar activities under the specific theme. So we open up the themes and activities, anything related to wetland centers, and then anything related to wetland conservation. So open up, then they become more creative, and then they approach with the more ideas and more creative concepts. So here I emphasize not to, this is not to make big changes. This is small amount of fun, but to create a basis for to reach bigger opportunities of funding with the visible achievement. So they can make visible achievement through this small amount. Then they can move to other funding agencies with the evidence that they have done. Then they can prove themselves as an important entity, and then their proposal, their project is important. We can explain. And then this is the photos from the projects that we have. So experience with the school students, and then preschool education program that was published by the Guandu, and then other monitoring program, and then field experiences. One good example was the last photo. We provided only 10 million Korean won, about 8,000 US dollar, but they have organized this kind of education activities about 30 times. And then they trained, educated more than 300 students through this program. So even the amount is small, they can be more creative, and then they can share the experience with more audiences through this. And then this is other program of WLI Asia Oceania. WLI Asia Oceania study visit. So we have launched this program in 2019, but right after we launched this, we faced the pandemic pandemic period. So we gave numerous extension opportunities. So extended up to last year. But the 8 grantees completed their travel to the wetland centers. So we only provided 3 million Korean won. That's about a little more than 2,000 US dollars. But we tried to give 10 projects per year on the 2019. So the grant duration was 12 months as well, but it was extended. So payment ratio, by signing the contract, we paid 100%. So the theme here was visiting any wetland centers for learning and share their experience and then information they've earned through our web magazine with other WLI Asia members, Asia Oceania members. So we believe that there are things that we cannot really learn from the internet and books. So they go and meet people and they participate in the program. They learn what they haven't found through the existing resources. Then they can recreate that as articles to share with the other members. So that was another one. So like now we are launching this this year, 2023. Again, this study visit exchange. So we expect more participants proponents for this grant program. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. So. That was really helpful. I love that it referred to some creativity, which I think is something that the WLI network is very rich in. And I think we'll find out a bit more about that in the process. My name is Connor Walsh, and I'm going to walk you through the really boring part now, but very important, which is about the forms, how we fill in the forms and the processes. I'm just going to give you an overview. Right? So the first thing to remember is read all these forms in detail, because we can't cover all of those details now. So the first step is to visit the WLI website. If you look under the Initiatives tab, you will see Small Grants, WLI Small Grants. Click in there, and on that page, you'll find 2 documents to download. One is the guidelines, and one is the application form. I'll talk you through the application form in a minute. You then create your application, send it in to us before the end of June. Then the core team, as Chris mentioned, we will assess the applications because we expect we'll have more applications than we have funding available. So if you're successful, we will let you know by the middle of August. Then we will send you an agreement form, which is between WLI WWT, our parent organization, and your organization about the nature of this agreement. And then finally, the next form will be reporting. So after you've signed the agreement, we transfer the money. We would like you to carry out the project before the end of this year. And then when you're ready, send us the reporting form before the end of February next year. So it's the 29th of February next year. So next year is going to be a leap year. So let's look more immediately at, let's click, there we go. The guidelines. The guidelines have something that you're probably all wondering about and relate partially to what Mr. So was talking about, but the scope and the eligibility. And if you've taken part in the WLI Asia Fund, this may seem familiar to you. We thank WLI Asia for their great experience that has helped us put this together. So we're looking at relating to CEPA, so communication, capacity building, education, participation, and awareness. Have a look and read in here to see that this is for you. It is relevant for members of WLI, of Wetland Link International. I know that some people who registered for this webinar are not yet members. Join, right? There's a big join button on the webpage. You can do that and we'll get you set up. So the next important question is what is eligible and what is not eligible? What could we fund and what would we not fund? The ineligible is things like, so that's the bottom of the page, that's things like your personal benefits, your personal studies, and overheads and things that are not related to the project. However, if you look at what is eligible, travel and equipment, contractors. So if you need to get someone in with machinery to do work at your wetland or to design particular materials, and that's there with the production of audio, video, things like that, meeting costs, and the contingency, so maximum of 10% leeway headroom at the top. Now, I'm just going to point out these screens full of text, the numbers, 2, 3, 4, 7, 6. This isn't everything that's in the guidelines, so do remember to read through the guidelines carefully. The next stage then, if you're happy to go ahead, is the application form. And we need two main parts to that. One is the form, which you'll download from our website and complete. That's parts 2 and 3, the project summary and the project proposal. And then separate to that, we need a letter, an official letter from your organization. Some WLI members are very small. You might be just 1 or 2 people. So the most senior person in the organization prepares a letter saying, yes, this project seems realistic and it's worth doing for us. It's important for us. Some WLI members they're state agencies or the National Park Service. So I'm not expecting you to go to the Minister of Education to get a letter. Just center manager, great. And then your project summary. And we see this is really straightforward. So the simple basic details about the project and other partners, the start date and the end date. So remember, we would like the end date to be this year, before the end of this year. Then a very simple summary of the budget. And we will be awarding these grants in pounds sterling, so UK currency. We expect you will calculate it in your local currency and then convert it to pounds sterling for us. There's a blue link there, a hyperlink, which takes you to an exchange website. Please use that. And then in that little box where the text is now, put the date that you used that website and what the exchange rate was, if it was 1 to 25, for instance, and put that in. And then finally, you can get writing in the summary box at the end. So maximum 500 words should come in at under 1 page summarizing the project. And that's it. Pretty simple to get you going. Click. There we go. So a little bit more on the application form. Background and rationale. So why is there a need for this project? What's the problem, if you like, that you're going to fix? And what's the SEPA relevance? Then the objectives. So what's going to change, right? How many do you want to educate? 300 children, for example. And then the activities, how you will go about that. What are the actions, activities, events you will organize? Again, note the word counts. In each case, it's a maximum of 300 words. If you don't put it there, we don't know it. But also, if we have a lot to read through, don't overburden us, please. And then we're into the budget section of the application form. There are 2 parts to this. They're both very straightforward and very simple. First is the summary. Again, we want you to convert the currencies. So we'll need both the local currency, the pound sterling, and what the exchange rate was. And then in this summary, we're simply looking at how much you're asking from this small grant awards, how much your organization will put up, and what other contributions you'll have. The budget breakdown then is really about what aspects of your work the WLI grant goes towards. And that helps inform us as well about, for future small grant schemes, where is it that WLI members need financial support most, what aspects? So that's a rapid run through. The very short summary then is that the forms are all in Microsoft Word format. So you need to be able to open a Microsoft Word document and email it back to us. If you don't have Microsoft Word, things like OpenOffice and WPS, they should work fine for us. note the word limits. You don't have to write 500 words. You don't have to write 300 words, but if less than those, getting the message across. Then the address to email it to is wli@wwt.org.uk. And that's a standard email address for any time you want to reach any of us. If you want to, certainly if you want to reach Chris or me at the WLI Global team, that gets through to us. So record that email address anyway, wli@wwt.org.uk. If you want more information, we'll have some updates on the webpage, wli.wwt.org.uk/small grant. On that page, we link to some resources that might be useful and to news about other funding opportunities that arise. So, for example, you'll see the news stories about Mr. Suh's study grant and WLI Asia on that page. And all important deadlines to get this planned. Remember, everything has to be done by the end of the year. We want a report after you've finished, but before the end of February next year. And we'll let you know in the middle of August if you've been successful. But that very first deadline to think about is fill in the application form and get it to us by the 30th of June, the end of June this year. So, whistle stop tour, you have our contact details, but now we can open the floor. So if you have any questions, there's a Q&A function if you'd like to type in questions. And I will pause my sharing so we can see the team spread around the world. Well, spread in 2 countries. And yeah, and I can see that we have attendees pretty much spread around the world, actually, yeah. South Asia, South America, and Europe. So if any of you have any questions, feel free to type them in right now. But also remember that you have our contact details.
Yeah, and as we said earlier, we will be able to share this recording as well. So if anyone has any questions later, we can take those too. So we do have a question then from Felipe. Is it Word, the format to send the application? Yep. It's all in MS Word, so that should be relatively easy to do. And I think most people will be familiar with that, so that seems fine. Thank you, Felipe. Otherwise, it seems everybody else found that very clear. Thank you very much, Connor, for arranging the webinar, and Mr. Suh and the team for taking part. And obviously, big thanks to Evershed Sutherland for supporting this and allowing us to deliver this, what we hope will be a longer-term grant scheme that we can support small projects to be happening wherever they are in the world. As Connor said, you know, WLI members are always full of ideas and things to do. And I think that this, even though it's a small amount of funding, should really allow people to either develop what they're doing already or maybe start something new that they didn't have any funding for to start with. So thanks everybody for that. Unless there are any further questions, I see one sneaking in. So Felipe is asking for the report form. Is it already available to be reviewed? So Connor, do you want to take that?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, I can send you a copy of that, Felipe. I have your contact details. So yeah, I will send that to you after this meeting, after this webinar.
Brilliant. Okay, we're finishing a little bit early, but I think that is fine. I will leave everybody to get on with their days or evenings, wherever you are in the world. Thanks again, everybody, for taking part, to the panelists, to Evershed Sutherland, and we are looking forward to receiving exciting and interesting ideas for little projects around the world. So again, thank you, everybody, and we look forward to being in touch soon. Bye all. Bye-bye.